I am Donna Lowry, host of Lawmakers on Georgia Public Broadcasting. You are watching the forum for Sandy Springs City Council District 6, organized by Rough Draft Atlanta. I'm joined by Sarah Callis, a politics reporter at Georgia Public Broadcasting, and Bob Papelis, who reports on Sandy Springs for Rough Draft. This is not a debate, but an opportunity for the candidates to introduce themselves to the District 6 voters and share where they stand on the issues. We will get started with each candidate taking 30 seconds to introduce themselves. You will see the timer on the screen letting you know how much time you have remaining. And Andrew Chinsky, please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. I am Andrew Chinsky, and my family lives in the Riverside neighborhood. I am the only attorney running for any of the city council districts, and I have deep roots in our community through Leadership Perimeter and Temple Sinai. Next year, council will update our comprehensive plan, which will inform every decision we make as a city for the next 10 years. Unlike me, no one on council today has kids at home, and my goal is to bring this diverse perspective to the process of creating a plan we can all be proud of in a city where my kids and yours can grow up safely. Thank you.
Thank you. Tasula Stewart, it's your turn.
Good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity to address District 6 Sandy Springs. I am Dr. Tasula Stewart, and Sandy Springs has been my home for over 20 years. In office, my focus will be lowering taxes, improve infrastructure, economic growth, and fiscal responsibility. My experience in finance, public policy, and leadership is extensive, and I'm committed to bringing accountability and transparency to City Hall. I have a proven track record of managing budgets and delivering results, and I will use these skills to protect your dollars.
Thank you very much. We will now go to our journalist panel, who will each ask 2 questions that both of you will answer. Candidates have 60 seconds to respond to each question. The timer will let you know how much time you have remaining. Sarah, you get the first question.
More development in Sandy Springs can lead to more traffic. What would you do to improve traffic flow in the city as it grows?
Tasula, you get the first response.
Traffic has been an issue in all sectors of Sandy Springs. Roswell Road, Powers Ferry Road, Abernathy, and all over the city. I am suggesting that we do a traffic study with all the stakeholders in our community, along with the Department of Transportation, to determine the best solutions for the congestions that we're having. It should be a collaborative effort. It will not be easy, but we should all take the time to put together the stakeholders and all of the brain power that we have in Sandy Springs to arrive at a solution. I am suggesting that we start now because it has been an issue and it will take time to solve such a big problem.
Thank you very much. Andrew, it's your turn.
Traffic has been one of the issues I've heard most about from residents as we've knocked on doors and spoken to people throughout District 6. And if you're like me and you've driven from my house to drop off at preschool in the morning and encountered school traffic, you know it's an issue. I think that we need to make it easier for the city to consider resident input in where traffic problems are located and to advance calming measures in those regions. For example, we can make the use of lighted signs, painted crosswalks, and reduce speed limits. We should also work with the schools to look at when carpool lines are and figure out if we can stagger those a bit. I also want to say that near Chastain Park, where speeding often occurs and where there's a lot of traffic congestion in the mornings, we should make it easier for residents to work with our police department and get lighted signage rather than having to pay for it themselves.
Thank you. Bob, it's your turn to ask a question.
So what can the city do to keep redevelopment plans for commercial properties such as the Prado alive and still fit in with the neighboring residential properties?
Andrew, you get the first response on this one.
Thank you. Economic development and redevelopment is one of my top priorities, and our city's economic development director can work with our community partners like the Greater Perimeter Chamber and the Perimeter CID to provide incentives for businesses to revitalize areas like the Prado. But we can also address empty storefronts by addressing some of the housing concerns in the area, which actually can improve traffic by creating more walkable spaces. Historically in District 6, retail and business activity has also been centered on commercial nodes so that commercial activity and retail doesn't bleed into some of our protected neighborhoods. And I support that measured approach as well.
Thank you. Tasula, please respond to the question.
In Sandy Springs, there has been an issue where, based on the growth of our city, housing has not been accessible, financially accessible for young families. I fully support the integration of business and residents, and we should get input not just from the people who are trying to come to our city, but the people who work in our city, who cannot afford to live in our city, and also from the developers who have extensive background in working with all of the stakeholders to make sure the city works for all. I would also suggest that this should be a priority of our economic development division. And once all these stakeholders come together, I am pretty sure that a workable solution can be arrived at.
Thank you very much. We now go back to Sarah Callis to ask her second question.
What is your loftiest goal for the city?
Andrew, we'll start with you.
Sure. I would love to help advance City Springs 2.0 as a walkable city space that can provide areas for retail, to play with some green space for our kids, and really provide a safe place to go out and enjoy ourselves. My family's been going to the farmers market for years, but there's so much more that can be done around the city center to expand that district. We should also lean on our Performing Arts Center. One of the things that makes Sandy Springs such an incredible place is that we have a world-class Performing Arts Center with the largest theater organization in the Southeast. Let's talk about making City Springs a theater district. Add some arts and add some hopeful housing opportunities for people to be there as well. And we can really make our city center the capital of the Atlanta Metro North region.
Thank you. Tasula?
Responsible management of the city's finances is an important issue that we should all focus on and be laser focused, especially on the bond issue that was just approved and is in the process of being funded. The city has taken on $50 million in additional debt. It will cost the city about $2.5 million in debt service per year. Someone with my experience and background is critically important to helping staff, helping other council members, helping the mayor to make sure those projects that are to be funded by that $50 million is funded appropriately. We do not have cost overruns, and that all of the other cities' finances are not impacted in a negative way. I hope to be working with the city staff and other council members to achieve that goal.
All right, thank you very much. Bob, you get the final question.
Okay. The district has less affluent residents living in older multifamily complexes. How would you keep redevelopment from driving these residents out of the city, many of whom fill vital roles in service and hospitality industries?
Okay, Tasula?
Affordability has been an issue for most cities in and around Sandy Springs and in the state of Georgia. Developers and the city can work together to make sure that any changes that are made to the city's infrastructure, whether it be housing, whether it be roads, whether it be public utilities, does not negatively impact the existing residents. For those residents who are renters or are owners who find it difficult to afford living expenses and find rents too high or mortgage payments too high, I believe the city can work collaboratively with developers, with economic development department, with the lenders and also with other property owners, just to make sure that housing is affordable, but it doesn't negatively impact existing homeowners.
Thank you very much. Drew, your final response.
Thank you. You know, housing is probably the issue I've heard most about on the campaign trail. And we love living in Sandy Springs, but housing has become incredibly expensive. There's no easy solution with the cost of land exceeding $1 million per acre and limited financing available to redevelop some existing land. But we have lost population as a city since 2020 and are projected to lose more population by the end of the decade. We don't want to drive more people from the city. So if we focus code enforcement on things that impact health and safety and making sure our residents are protected, that's a big priority for mine. Population loss is not typically a desirable policy outcome because it can lead to lower school enrollment and loss of tax base, which threatens our ability to provide city services and really contributes to the vibrancy of our city. I would like to look at other policy tools like affordable set-asides or community land trust or partnerships with Fulton County. And we can do this all while remaining faithful to our zoning principles and without compromising our protected neighborhoods.
All right, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for questions. Each candidate will now have 60 seconds for a closing statement. And Andrew, we'll start with you. Please give your closing statement.
Thank you for letting me join today's forum. As one of 4 generations of my family living within 10 minutes of our home, I am running to be a champion for our future as we build our comprehensive plan, which will be the single most important thing that the next council will accomplish. The plan is our chance to affirm support for our police and fire departments. We can address how expensive it has become for young families to afford housing or for seniors to downsize. We can advance our sidewalks program. As a runner, I would love to be able to run from my house in Riverside all the way down to Chastain Park. And we can invest in our trees and in our parks so that our kids have more spaces to safely grow and play, and maybe even to swim. The comprehensive plan provides the lens through which our city will affirm our collective goals and values, and I am prepared to guide that process from day one. I now ask for your trust and for your vote to make sure our city has next generation leadership and practical thinkers to keep us moving forward. Thank you for your time, and for more information, please visit my website at www.andrewchinsky.com.
Thank you very much. Tasula, you may now give your closing statement.
Thank you. District 6, I'm asking for your vote. I have a proven track record in finance, public policy, and leadership. I will collaborate with the mayor, city council, and staff to lower taxes, work to make housing financially accessible, improve infrastructure, and manage the city's growth. I will listen to you, my constituents, to make sure that your priorities are my priorities. Some may say a city council's job is a part-time endeavor, but I believe that District 6 deserves someone who is accessible and can fully commit to the duties of a council member. I'm asking for your vote to be that person. Go to my website, electtasula.com, for more information about me and our plans for Sandy Springs. Sandy Springs is a great city to live in. I want to make it greater. I want to be the next administration to make Sandy Springs the place to be.
Thank you very much. That is all the time we have, and I want to thank the candidates and the panel for participating, and Rough Draft Atlanta for organizing the